Hey, what's up? My name is Kevin and I'm the Helpful Hero, here to help you leverage the awesome power that is HubSpot. And today I've got episode 2 of Can Clean Pro Do It? The answer is probably always gonna be yes if I'm doing these videos, but at any rate, I wanna show you how you can replicate some really cool websites that exist out there that I'm finding and maybe that you are suggesting to me. So if you have a suggestion for one of these videos that you would love me to actually go through and rebuild a section utilizing Clean Pro, drop a comment below or reach out and let me know, and I'll take that under consideration. But today in this episode, we are focusing on HubSpot's brand new homepage, which I actually really like, and just went live right during inbound this year. I dig where they're going with the branding. I like the style. It's modern, it's clean, professional. Like, nice job, HubSpot design team. I approve. So we're gonna go ahead and rebuild this top section using none other than the magic module, which, again, there's a reason for why I name it the magic module. It's because it can do basically everything. So we are going to basically replicate this. If you go to the HubSpot website, you'll see that this kind of remains full screen. We've got this cool little rotating text images. This is rather simple, so this tutorial should go pretty fast. So let's just jump straight into HubSpot's. Now, I'm just setting this page up as a work template for us to go through. This right here is a magic module already placed in. So let's just get after it. The first thing we want to do is we want to come under the Styles tab and the section settings, and we're going to go to background. Now, I'm using the thank you template, which is by default one magic module that's set to full screen. But if you're using any other template, you're gonna want to turn on this full screen background option so that you get this nice kind of full screen, no matter what screen or what size the screen is. So now that we have that, we're gonna go ahead and add a background image. Let's just browse these images. I already downloaded that cool image from HubSpot. So I'm gonna go ahead and plop that in. And let's apply changes just to see how this looks. Okay, cool. And so it looks like they have a little bit of a darker overlay, so that white text really pops. So what we can do is we can come down to the overlay options and we're gonna add a solid color. Now their color looks, kind of like a dark muted brown. So maybe I'll do advanced. Let me just see if I can find some sort of like brownish color tint that's more red. I think if I go to orange, I can get maybe a little bit of a brown. So let's just see how this looks. It might be a little dark, but actually that's pretty good. That's actually pretty spot on. I'm impressed. All right, let's continue. So the next thing we wanna do is we wanna go to the content section so that we can work on that text. So we'll go into the content elements and let's just do that top text first. So we'll do like pre-headline as the name of the element, rich text editor, it's great. And then what we'll do, just so we can replicate this completely, is I'm just gonna copy this text so that we can drop it in right here. And that's already set as an H4. Let's turn the dark editor on so that we can go ahead and make this white text and apply those changes and just see how we're looking. So my H4 in Clean Pro theme is already set to this style, but let's just go ahead and try an H5 and see how that looks. Okay, it's a little closer. Let's just try the H6. I'm thinking maybe we can, haha, look at that. It's already set up to that all caps and it's right around the same size. Now, the next thing we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna add another content element. And this time, this is going to be for the rotating text option. So we'll do rotating text, just as our organizing elements. And then if I type in R, that's gonna give us the option for rotating text. And this is gonna be the heading 1. And so now what we wanna do is we simply want to grab all of the text before what's gonna rotate. And I'm just gonna copy this right here. We'll paste it in the beginning And then let's just make a little space here. Now let me show you a cool little trick. In some cases, you can add some HTML in these single text line inputs. And so in this case, if I hit apply changes, so we can see what it looks like. And actually before I go on, let me come down to use a custom text color just so we can kind of see this. And the text color for the beginning, we're gonna make white. And just while we're here, we're gonna do the same thing for the rotating text since that's white. And apply these changes, and now we can kind of see it. So now what we want to do is we actually want Teams to drop on a second line. And so here's the little trick. So right here, I can just do back, and then I can do, what is this, like open caret /BR for break, and then I can close that. And then when I apply changes, essentially that Teams is gonna drop down to the second line. Now what we can do is we can come over and we can just add in grow, scale, close. Okay, so then we would do grow, period, and then comma, which is gonna separate that. Scale, period, comma, and then close, period. It's the commas that separate what it rotates through. And so if we apply changes there, oh, I forgot one thing. This is actually good that we're doing this. With a feature like the rotating text image, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna want to come under start here and then select the rotating text animation. This loads the needed JavaScript to make this thing work. It's just there so that if you're not using it, it's not loading JavaScript that you don't need and slows your page down. So at any rate, easy to miss, but if it doesn't work right off the bat, always look under start here if there's any of those features you need to turn on. Okay, so we can go back to the rotating text and we can see it's rotating and it's doing its little thing, but HubSpot's one kind of like fades in from the bottom. So what we can do is we can come first, we'll do text alignment. We're gonna center this. And there's one other place to center right down here, and that's the entire text. So we'll apply those changes. And then the animation type. So right now it's just on fade in. So we wanna do something like fade in and up. And so let's just apply these changes. You can already see we're actually getting a little bit closer to what HubSpot has. So now the period, which in HubSpot's is orange, I don't think I'm gonna be able to replicate that. That is not something built in, but you know what? If we can get close enough and it's only the period, I think we're doing pretty damn good. So now let's go ahead and complete this. So what we'll do is we are going to add another content element that is going to be for the subtext. So we'll just go ahead and copy this and paste this right over. Highlight everything, and we're going to center this text, and then we want to make sure we make it white. We'll turn on the dark editor and then apply these changes and see how everything looks. Okay, so as you can see, this is kind of needs a little bit of spacing from our copy and paste. And again, what we wanted to do is break on another line. So in this case, we don't want to create another paragraph. If you do shift return, that's gonna break it on its own line without breaking the paragraph format. It's kind of like adding that little BR that I showed you before, but doing it within the rich text editor. All right, now we're looking pretty good. Let's add our buttons and then we will start to get other things dialed in. So in this case, we'll do buttons. We'll grab the button elements, which is gonna open this up. In this case, we're just gonna use standard buttons, but of course you can use HubSpot CTAs or whatever you want. We'll do 2 buttons. And then in this button, I think it said get a demo. So we'll do get a demo. And then we're gonna just not worry about adding an icon, but we're gonna give it the primary button style. And I'm just gonna leave the URL out for the moment. And then for button number 2, it's going to say, get started free. And then in this case, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna use the secondary option. So let's just quickly apply changes and see what that resulted. Cool, actually we're getting a little bit closer. So now what we need to do is we need to come back to the buttons and focus on the element alignment. And so in this case, we'll do button center, apply those changes. And now we're starting to look actually pretty good, minus a few little style things, some of which we're gonna start to clean up. So the spacing, this has a little bit more spacing, so I'm gonna address that, and then we're gonna go and try to address this font right here. So for the spacing, one thing that you can do within content elements is you can add spacing below them. So let's just go ahead and go to the rotating text. And again, if I just come back out here, I can go into our rotating text element, scroll down, and then we have this little slider right here that allows us to add space below the element. So in this case, I'm gonna try let's just try 15. Apply those changes. Cool, that gave us a little bit of space. Maybe we'll add some more space between that content element. So I can just click next in this case and just jump over to this one. And here, let's just try 15 and see how that looks. Okay, I think we're gonna have to pump that up to maybe 30 and see how that looks. Now we're getting a lot closer to just that spacing. You could probably maybe use a little bit more, but you get the point. I'm gonna leave it there. Now let's go on and change the heading here. So what we would do here in this case is go into the actual theme settings and then into the typography section. Now, of course, if you're well familiar with Clean, you know that you can come into each of these headings and select a font that is from Google Fonts. Now, what was this one called? It was like, they're using a special font, so I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to get it exactly, but there was, when I ChatGPT'd this, there was one that started with a C that now I'm completely forgetting. But let's try Playfair and see if that's actually gonna fair. Where is it? Playfair. Let's see if that's gonna get us close enough. Okay, not bad. Let's just try that. So we'll do publish theme, and then that should take us back over to our testing page. And there we go. I mean, listen, in just like a handful of minutes, that's pretty darn good, I'd say. So at any rate, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I'm gonna continue to do these as I find other elements. And I promise if there's other modules that are gonna make more sense than the magic module, I'm gonna add those into the mix here. But at any rate, if you have any suggestions, I'm open to it. And with that, I'm out. Have a fantastic day, an even better weekend, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later.